Hello walkers, and welcome to City Walks once again on a cold fall evening. Afternoon really. It's 3 p.m., 33 degrees Fahrenheit, 1 degree Celsius. We are starting here. Well, first of all, my name is Henry. I will be your proxy walker today, your virtual travel guide on this cold, crisp Halloween day. And we are today in Bozeman, Montana, once again. I'm going to flip you around here. We're starting off here at the Bozeman Co-op I think we're on Babcock, and that way is Maine facing north. You can see the solar panels. They've had a big expansion over the last couple of years. This whole new section on the left is fairly new. It is quite cold. In fact, I'm going to have to put my gloves on here. Luckily, I brought them. But it's Halloween. I think I said it's 1 o'clock. This year, Halloween falls on a Sunday, so it's not really busy today. We're on Babcock between 9th and 10th. And I'm going to keep going this way a little bit, and we're going to go look at the high school just to get a view of it, because they've been doing a lot of work on it this year, and I want to show you. And then we're going to loop around through some of this neighborhood off to the south. And see just some of what it looks like, and then maybe we'll head over to the north side a little bit as well. Not sure if we're going to get all the way downtown, but we probably will today. And I'll point out a few things and share some thoughts as I go. I want to thank our Patreon supporters. We got 3 new Patreon supporters this week, and it's just a thrill for me. And adds a little bit of money to the budget for fuel to drive the 60-mile round trip over to Bozeman and other places, as well as occasionally, I've got like software costs, which subscriptions, that sort of thing, and I really appreciate it. We're going to make a right over here. We're not going to go all the way over to the high school because it gets pretty commercial pretty quickly. Maybe we'll just walk down this 11th. There's kind of a few north-south main streets. 19th, of course, is the major one. It's got the most traffic. It's got a lot of box stores and commercial stuff out that way. And then there's 11th, right, what we're on now. And this is more an older north-south, and goes by the school, the high school and the former middle school. I don't know. They do have 2 high schools now. Off to the left is Montana Whitewater, Rafting and Zip Line. And basically they do shuttles as well to the Madison River in the summer. A lot of people go tubing. What else can we put? You can see some of the work being done over here through the trees and stuff. They've been working on it for a while. I don't really keep up with all the details of Bozeman anymore. I moved here in 2003, and it was occurring to me it's been over 18 years that I've been in this area, with a little bit of time away, of course. Oh, it's breezy. And I'm going to talk a little bit about stuff that's changed and stuff that stayed the same. That building over there, this Wendy's has been here forever. Well, since I've been here at least. That's a pizza place. It's been a few other things over there, a bakery. And you can see they're really doing a lot of construction here. Drive-through is hopping at Wendy's today. I'm also filming a little differently today. I've got a different color profile I'm using. It's Cine D. It's DJI's log-like profile, and a log is just, it's a way to try and expand the dynamic range of the camera, which, not to get too technical, but is sort of the brightest brights it can read info and the darkest darks it can read info. Space in between that is the dynamic range. So we're going to make a right up Mendenhall. We're not going to go too far back into this neighborhood over here. Oh, back to north-south routes. So in a northerly direction, North 7th was for a long time the major commercial area as I walk into the wind. This over here used to be the DMV. No longer. They got a brand new place further out of town. And then to the south was 8th, and that goes by Cooper Park and up to the university, as does 11th, goes up to the university. And then further east, kind of the main, the last one over in that direction is Rouse, and that heads out to Bridger Canyon and Bridger Bowl. This used to be a Safeway over here, and now it's like a boot barn and a few other things. I'm going to walk back to Maine to show you the co-op again, the other side of this building. It's a really impressive building. And it's a really well-supported co-op. You know, a lot of membership, a lot of people. You don't really get, I don't think you get a whole lot of benefits from the membership or ownership of the co-op, but other than it does support them. I mean, that's a cool thing. They've got a living roof on the building. You know, of course, we saw the solar panels and that sort of thing. One of the reasons I wanted to sort of talk about what's the same and what's different is late November, my son and I are going to take a cross-country road trip back east, and I'm hoping that I'll get at least a day in Wilmington, North Carolina, which is where I grew up. I was kind of imagining what I would say and what it's going to be like, and then I was thinking about, as I pulled into Bozeman, you know, 18 years, pushing 19, a lot has changed, but a lot has stayed the same too. There's a lot of inertia in places. You know, the co-op has been here the whole time I've been here, and was here when I lived here in 97, I think. It was just this metal bit. Not even sure it was looking like that. But, you know, Lewis and Clark has been here for decades, and it's ebbed and flowed as it's had different owners. And, you know, there were those few years in there, and they were always in the police blotter. Well, this is a Boot Barn and Ashley home store over here. And so they've sort of defied the growth and the explosive population boom here. This laundromat up here on the left has been here forever. I'm going to cross back over to the south side here in a little bit. Coming up on 9th, and we're walking along Main Street here, aka Huffine. And then you've got the store across from Lewis and Clark, Maven's. It's now some sort of market. It used to be a flower shop. I think it was something else before then. You know, so that has resisted that has succumbed to all the change. And back here used to be, it's Greek to me, a Greek restaurant. Great place to get gyros, but they're gone. And I meant to look up the bar up here that's gone. Gosh, it's like the Cactus or something. But this building's new. This high rise back there that we'll walk by, that's new. And so, you know, you get all this change, but strange things like the bar. We're going to go up here to the Bermuda Triangle, which used to be 3 3 bars and is down to 2. And we'll see, like, how are they still in business? Right, these dive bars that are actually a lot of fun, but you know, it's just kind of an interesting way. I think Thomas Wolfe is famous for saying you can never go home. And I was trying to think of how I'd explain that, the meaning of that, to my son, and came up with the metaphor of a puzzle. You know, at any given time, we're part of a puzzle in a place, and then when we leave, the puzzle changes, and we, our own little puzzle piece, we change. And when we go back, there may or may not be a place that we fit, you know. I'm pretty proud of that metaphor. Pardon my sniffles. Ooh, it's cold. At the very least, they've gotten a coat of paint, some new wall sconces here. I always thought that bit above the lobby would make a great lounge. Okay, so over here is the Bermuda Triangle. So there was one that's closed, and then there's the Hofbrau house, or the Hofbrau. Hof, as it will be, as we're walking up 8th, one of the streets I mentioned. And then we'll cross over here at the crosswalk. There's the Molly Brown. And the Molly Brown, I assume it's still the Molly Brown, is in the past they've had pool tables and, you know, liquor. And I love how they've named this this apartment building Sobo. It's a little overly grandiose. The Hofbrau has all these wooden tables, or used to have all these wooden tables people had carved into initials and messages and that sort of graffiti. What's that place called? We're on Babcock once again, and here's the Molly Brown. You can tell it's got a new coat of paint or two, but used to be browner, I think, darker. Still about still a bit of a dive bar. We'll cross over here. 7th. So this is South 7th. Definitely not a thoroughfare here. Did I ask you guys to subscribe? And I think I'm supposed to ask you to subscribe if you haven't done that yet. And I'll talk a little bit about, for those of you that are new, are kind of the way I do things here. I chat, I jibber jabber. So if you don't like that, I can certainly recommend some other channels that are silent. Most of them are. But I like interacting with you guys. That's why I love getting your comments. Love reacting to them. Even if it's just to say hi. And I sort of wander around. I do a little bit of research usually, but not always. Sometimes I just walk around on a personal voyage of discovery. But I do welcome, kindly put corrections, things I missed, things I could have seen, things that I should see next time, any kind of errors and omissions that I might make. I appreciate those. And just hearing I love getting your personal stories. Love hearing your memories and your exercise goals that you've been meeting, or maybe some of your challenges in terms of being in lockdown or other things. Look at this new place. This is a South Side neighborhood. I've walked in Bozeman a bunch and it's easy. Right now I don't have a lot of time to travel, to take like a big weekend trip and hit a bunch of places. But I will, like I said, be driving cross country at the end of the month. And so I'll be doing more cities. And but I'd like to update you guys on the change. Bozeman is changing so fast that there's a lot of difference every time I come over, it seems like. And this South Side neighborhood is just, love these old homes. We're on Olive, by the way, Olive and 6th, and people like it. There's several people that like it when I call out where we are, so they can kind of follow along on a map. When I was filming with the GoPro would record GPS, and I was thinking about getting this software that would put us animated little map in the corner, kind of like like you'd have on your phone or something. But I kind of fried my GoPro, and then I got this Osmo 2, this Pocket 2, and it doesn't have the GPS. I'm sure there's a way I could record that information on my phone and then somehow transfer it over. But I'm trying to keep this as simple as I can. We've got here in the U.S. and in Montana, we've got an election coming up on Tuesday. And I got my list is to turn in my ballot tomorrow, Monday. It's a mail-in ballot, at least in Park County where I live. Anywho, I bought a polarizing filter, and I used it one day, and I took it off because I was going to use the Pocket to do some film another thing to film. Well, I'm going to start filming again for the Weekly Fly, another one of my YouTube channels, and set it aside, and I totally forgot two things this morning. It's a busy day today, and when I left the office, I forgot that little polarizer and my headphones to monitor audio, so I'm hoping the audio is going to be okay. Love these old houses. And I love these old trees. We've lost most of the leaves. Had a couple stormy days, and of course had a pretty good freeze, a couple freezes, in the 20s Fahrenheit, negative Celsius, and that has, I think, done the trick on the leaves. And of course Bozeman's a little bit cooler. They're about 500 feet higher than Livingston, and they're right kind of on 2 or 3 sides have mountains, and so they get a lot of cool air. This is the Emerson Cultural Center over there. We go by here almost every time. And let's head downtown, and we'll see a couple new buildings. Here's some nice foliage. The Cinna D, or Cinna-like D color setting here makes the image look kind of muddy. And I'm hoping that it'll give a little bit more dynamic range when I go through and color grade it. So I'll add more contrast and more saturation and maybe a little bit of sharpening. I don't know, we'll see. And make sure the audio's as good as I can make it. Sort of take out that wind peaking that's caused by the wind on the microphone. This is the back of the Wilson School, and that I think is still owned by the city. But off to the right is the old Wilson School, I think that's what it is. It's been turned into condos, really, really nice condos. Well, maybe we'll get a better look, but you can see the Baxter Hotel over here. We'll cross Babcock on the pedestrian crossing. It's the Catholic Church. I don't know which one. I think it's the Catholic Church. You can see these over here. They've really done a nice job on these condos. Great location, right near downtown. And then over across the street from the Wilson condos is the city building. I think they have the courthouse in there, and they have a bunch of other offices, that sort of thing. A little break from the breeze. Coming up on Main. I guess I forgot one of the north-south routes, one of which we're going to come up to here in 2 blocks, and that's Wilson. That heads south through a lot of the old fancy houses on the south side. Got a couple of banks here, the Wells Fargo Bank on the left and First Interstate on the right. Then we've got a hotel that used to be a different hotel, which was really seedy. A friend of mine stayed there 15 years ago or so. I think the cops came a few times. But now it's been redesigned as a sort of mid-century modern hotel called the Lark. And it's got a coffee shop and an ice cream shop out front. You can see it there. And I want to cross because I want to see a couple buildings, show you guys a couple buildings. On the north side. It's a little surprising there's not more Halloween decorations out. I think the surge that we've been experiencing the last few years either has put a damper on that. This used to be a restaurant area. There's a Mexican place, a Thai place, another Mexican place. This up here on the right is Saks of Bozeman. A little play on words there. And it's a thrift store, nonprofit. And they actually had to stopped taking donations earlier in the year because they couldn't handle it all. It's just getting so much intake. And, you know, they've been here again since I've been here. And they don't have a lot of space. You know what? This building off the left, that's been here for a long time too, but I honestly don't know what's in there. I'm just now noticing it. Huh. That's funny. Alrighty. So, the Baxter is a well-known landmark in town. It's, again, long time here. For a long time, it's one of the tallest buildings in town, other than up at the university. That's been taken over by a couple other buildings. I love these aspen, still hanging on to their leaves. So, I guess 111 over there are condos, but I don't know. I think that's gone up since the last time I was through here. We've got the Regis building, which I think is offices, pretty sure, as we come up on Wilson. Now to the north, it's kind of a low traffic area. But to the south, it's a big, wide thoroughfare. And you can see the Armory Hotel there. That's brand new. And apparently they have a great rooftop bar that I haven't been to yet, but I'd love to check it out. Heard great things. We're at Wilson and Mendenhall. I'm just going to cross because I can. Got, of course, Blink Rides is a new scooter company. They've had Bird here for a while. So this used to be all cement, like this lower part without all the awnings and stuff. It was kind of a drab. It was a National Guard armory, so it was kind of vaguely Art Deco, but not really. It was as Art Deco as you can get with National Guard dollars. So, and now this building over here that I want to take a look at, despite all the audio being played over, you know, out into the public space. I've spoken about how I feel of that. Minor pet peeve as things go. This building over here, good Lord, I don't even know what that's going to be. I assume office space, judging by the design, but who knows? Kind of like that wood exterior, or faux wood exterior. It's pretty cool. It's gonna be big. Right there. Revelry Pilates Studio. That's weird. Well, Plates and Pours. There used to be a kind of a Jewish deli type restaurant. It was really good. I don't know if it was Jewish deli, but it was I don't know, that kind of food. It was quite good. Anyway, Element, that's been here for a few years. Hotel space. Apparently that's also quite nice. We've got a Streamline bus here. I think I've mentioned this before. I love the fact that they have bike racks. The other thing is that they do not charge any fees. It's free to ride the Streamline. You have to, of course, wear a mask right now, but they've got several routes, and it's a great addition to the town. And to have free public transportation is pretty huge, especially in a place where the prices have gone up so much. That's black. That we're actually going to go back up downtown, or to Main Street, sorry. This is a parking garage off to our right. And then Think Tank Creative. They I think they're the ones that did the Lark. They've also done they redid one of the movie theaters downtown into a music venue, and I haven't been inside, but it looks really cool. Now, when I moved here 18 years ago, and this is neither good nor bad, but you would not see a car like that in Bozeman. I saw a Lamborghini quarter mile away up as you come into town on East Main in a parking lot, and you definitely wouldn't have seen those. Barely even ever see a Mercedes. And again, that's not good or bad, it just is. Right. This is Schnee's, an outdoor kind of clothing store. They also have a gun shop in there, some fly fishing stuff. And we are going to, well, we'll go this way, given the light. Rocky Mountain Toy Company has been here since I have, long time. One of these buildings blew up, and it was basically a hole in the ground for 10 years, maybe not that long. The Crystal Bar was one of the only rooftop bars in town for a long time. It's a little bit of a reputation as being kind of a dive, but also kind of fun place for people to go hang out. I don't want to give the impression, although I probably am, that I'm pretending to be like have deep Montana roots. I don't, but I sure love it. Oh yeah, let's go down here, because there's another building I haven't seen since it was finished. I think they were working on it maybe last time we were through here. I've been here 18 years, like I said, and certainly not one of those folks that's fourth or fifth generation, or one of the native people that have been here for thousands of years. But it's been long enough to see change, especially at the growth rate that Bozeman's been on just the last 5 or 6 years. I think this is an architect now. Looks like it used to be either a library or maybe a city building. Well, it's attorneys at law, that's what it is. This is the Bozeman Carnegie Library. So we've got a Carnegie Library over in Livingston. There was one in, Dillon. And then this one used to be the library here. It's moved a couple times. Their old building was not far from here. Maybe we'll go past it. Is now a city building, city offices. And they've got a relatively new building that's like LEED Gold certified, very environmentally friendly, very interesting building. Some public art outside, right next to Lindley Park. It's a great location. I like this building. I wonder, it's going to be interesting to see how that wood weathers, or maybe it's fake, synthetic, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Looks like apartments or condos. Off to the left is Dave's Sushi. Been here forever. They did add on a little bit. Used to be just this cement brick building, and now they've added on this whole other, kind of doubled their space. Pooch waiting for an owner outside. And another pooch up top. You might not think Montana would be a good place for sushi, but they'd fly it in from the coast, so fish is pretty fresh. And then you've got this brand new big building and these old, kind of run down, let's be honest, houses. It's probably a rental house that hasn't been, that somebody's just holding on to. Why wouldn't you? And you get into this north side, and so on the north side is interesting because it gets a little quirky. Coming up on Beale Street here. Further east really is where it kind of gets, has some newer stuff, and I think it's not as quirky as it used to be because there's so much new building going on that's modern and interesting. But at one point they were trying to designate it an urban blight zone because the city wanted to do some development, and that raised quite the ruckus. And it eventually got, I think that got defeated or stopped. And now it's got some other development over there. There's kind of a neat little neighborhood with a couple breweries and restaurants and stuff like that. So coffee shops and office space as well as residential. It's a great mixed use area. Coming up on Montana Street, looks like they're doing some sewer work here. And you can see some traffic in the distance. That's Rouse. Which sounds like a German word, but I think it's a name, like a person's family's name. And, oh yeah, we're coming right, snuck right up on us. Look at this tiny little house. Probably sell for $1 million, who knows? Kind of crazy. So this is the old library, not the old library that we walked past earlier, but the library until like mid-2000s, I guess. Now it's city building. And we'll go down here to Rouse and maybe go back over to the south side. Who knows? Again, pardon my sniffles. Now that I'm going to cross back over because I just noticed this little pocket park here that I haven't really noticed before. I don't know if they've added some stuff to it or it's always been here. I just never noticed it. And this is, I want to say this is Sourdough Creek coming through town, or it might be Bozeman Creek. Flows underneath downtown. Must be sourdough. It's a Bozeman Sourdough Lions. This sculpture with the rock and the metal, I don't know the name of the artist. Ken Reiser. It's called Thing Number One. I'm going to give you if you want to learn more about it, a QR code. Sorry to do this to you, but thought you might be interested. Just pause that or rewind it and you can find it. I think he's a local artist. And I don't know, pretty interesting stuff. It's called Creekside Park. You can see it flowing down there. Looks like it took a hit, that tree did. This is Rouse. And this is an elementary school. Normally I don't film around elementary schools, but this is Hawthorne. But it's a Sunday and nobody's there, so I don't feel too bad about that. Just because I like to let kids have their privacy and not be kind of creepy about it. This red building has been a lot of different things. Now it's an architecture firm. There was a design firm, like a building or interior design kind of thing. Furniture design, that's what it was. But now Looks like it's architecture. For a while, it was also Mercury CSC had moved in. I used to work with them. They were a marketing and advertising agency. And then this building is a tap room. It's actually been here for a while now. And they've got a great rooftop bar as well. Probably not so great right now. It's pretty chilly. The market, huh? I haven't been in there before. I think I've known they've been around, but I just haven't visited. Oh, that's interesting. The fire station is for sale. Still in use, I guess. That's probably prime real estate, as well as I talk over the music being played into public spaces. And I haven't really ranted about that in a while, but I'll explain myself. So if I don't talk over that music, I risk getting a copyright complaint, automatic copyright complaint from YouTube. You know, they've got their software that looks through songs that are listed in their content ID system. And I think they've gotten better, but more accurate, I guess is the word. But it's still a risk, so I try to talk over it to fool. I'm letting somebody pass here. To not fool, but add enough variation to the audio to make sure I don't get that copyright thing. So, you know, I haven't done anything to try to use that content, but it's in this public space. And so, in theory, I'm violating somebody's rights, but it defies logic to me a little bit, you know. It's a public space that's being invaded and used by them, and I pay the consequences. I don't mean to whine about it, but I am whining about it. So over there's the Eagle. Nova Cafe, restaurant, breakfast and brunch. 5 on Black is a Brazilian grill next to the Pita Pit, which is a chain. On the right, we've got Bar 9 Barbecue. And this bar, I noticed this bar the other day. I think it's fairly new. J & Company Bar. It's kind of classic, old bar style. I like that. Smoke, Fire, and Coal. I guess that's probably a barbecue or a grill. Open range, this restaurant. I haven't been in there. I kind of want to, but it's a meat place, and there's Mackenzie River. And I live with, my family is, what do you call that? Vegetarian. That's what you call it. Here is the Legion, and the building I think next to it was the one that blew up, maybe. Can't remember where it was, which is probably a good sign. The Rocky Nar Bar, they've got in trouble this year for violating all the health code restrictions around the pandemic. Usually on Halloween, or maybe the Friday before Halloween, so maybe we missed it, there are a ton, all the businesses put out candy for little kids, and you'll see these groups of kids wandering around, little 3, 4, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds in their costumes, squeaking and cackling and having a great time, and getting candy, loading up on candy. We're back on Bozeman Avenue. I'm going to cross over because the dry cleaner's down there looks like it's under construction. I seem to remember that maybe pre-existing. That might have been try and center that. But I kind of want to take a look at it, see what's going on. Classic old building. I love that these buildings are getting reused in large part. The Armory, was a building that was pretty much in disuse. They took it, revamped it a little bit, but kept the main, at least the ground street level bit fairly similar, and then went up. I like that. I like that use of space. I like the retention of the old style. And I love these old brick buildings. It's so much probably cheaper to knock them down, build some metal and glass thing without a lot of creativity. But they haven't been doing that, so that's nice. I like that. Kudos. As we come back to Babcock, and we've been up here before, but we'll see if we can't find something new and different. This black building, of course, is brand new. And I know I just said metal and glass, and that's a lot of metal. But it's got that modern look to it, not particularly groundbreaking, but still interesting. Visually interesting, visually different. Curious what they're going to do there. Ooh. Looks like they're going to do something with the U.S. Bank building too, maybe. Or at least this parking lot. That's kind of cool. I'm kind of a fan of, well, maybe it's just storage for equipment. I'm kind of a fan of getting rid of some of these massive parking lots. Incentivizes, I mean, it makes traffic worse, it makes parking more difficult, but that's just another good reason to take the free bus or ride a bike or ride an e-bike or walk. Bozeman's pretty walkable in a lot of ways. I mean, just in terms of size. Owen House Hardware, a little quirky because they also have a bike shop as we cross Black Avenue here, which you wouldn't think would be a bike shop. They went from selling Schwinn and sort of old style, just simple bikes, and now they do high-end mountain bikes. I think Rocky Mountain and Giant are the brands they carry there. They've got some small engine repair for their hardware store that fronts up on Main. This is, to our left, is the Federal Building and the Post Office, Forest Service, a few other departments in there. As we look up, I think off to the right is, I was going to say it's HRDC, but I think it might be something else now because HRDC is across the street. This is the Baxter comes into view, at least the sign. Looks like that they're doing some work on one of the buildings on Main over there, and you can see kind of a roof or a pergola roof that is going to maybe be some open air entertaining area. It's sorely needed here in the summer. I don't know if needed's the right word, but it would be nice to have. But it's hard to justify the expense of doing something like that when you only get to use it 4 months a year, 5 months a year. So yeah, I'd say 4, June, July, August, September. Maybe a little bit of May, maybe a little bit of October. Certainly this year, October was nice. We're going to go up to Olive, and we'll head down to Wilson and cross over there. See what other new buildings they've constructed since the last time we were here. So we're crossing Tracy, and this is the corner of Tracy and Olive. See the sign there. I think this is the Episcopal Church, but I'm not entirely sure. We'll see in just a second. Pretty sure it is, given the stone and the red door. Yep, St. James. Used to go to St. James as a kid in Wilmington, North Carolina. All right. So, on the right is Second Wind Sports. Again, a long time, kind of a, institution. You can take your bikes and a lot of outdoor gear, almost solely outdoor gear. You can sell it on consignment there and buy used stuff. A lot of bikes available there. Skis. I think they organize a ski swap every year. The Learning Center used to be a lot of different things. It used to be painted like a faux Swiss chalet. Now it looks like it's a preschool or a child care center. It was a science center, Exploration Works, I think maybe they called it, or something similar. But now, as so much has in Bozeman, it's changed to something else. I'm going to go to the left here before I cross. I think I've mentioned this before, but this attorney store next to Yellow Dog Fly Fishing used to be a coffee shop in the 90s, and it was owned by this gal, I think her name was Zuzia, and she and her sister her parents had escaped Hungary under the communists, and I think they might have been moved to Canada, and then she and her sister were down here for whatever reason, and there was a coffee shop, and it was a nice little coffee shop too, and we'd hang out there. Back in the day. I'm gonna cross over again when the traffic is light. Keep an eye over my shoulder. I've been chastised by a couple of viewers for jaywalking before, which they are absolutely right to do. This is the Methodist Church on the right. That said, when I do it, I'm usually pretty careful to not take a whole lot of risk there. We all have our different tolerance for toeing the line. There's a wall tent up here, and I'm kind of curious what is going on with that. Could be outdoor dining space. I have to assume that's what it is. We're coming up on Grand Avenue here, and this is again, we're back to the Emerson Cultural Center, and this corner here has been in the past a restaurant, and I guess it still is. It's now called the Sidewall Pizza Company. Interesting. And these are wall tents they put up, apparently to have some outdoor seating. It's been a lot of different restaurants over the years. And, Emerson is a great place for the arts. They have studio space, office space, gallery space, a couple different theaters, ballroom, and then this big field out back. It used to be a school. Back in the way back, time-wise. Still intend to do a short video on the gear and software that I use at some point, but that won't be part of the regular scheduled webcast. It won't be webcast, or maybe it will. Maybe I'll do a live stream. Why not? We'll see. I'm not sure when I'm going to do that though. I've gotten, you get a lot of questions about that as people want to start their own channels, and I certainly did when I was starting out. And so I want to share the love, share the knowledge, be a community, be part of the rising tide, lifting all boats kind of thing. It's 4th Avenue we're coming up on. So for a long time, Tibetan prayer flags, which that looks kind of like down there. Yeah, we'll go down there. We're a thing here. Still are. A lot of climbers and some new agey, some just outdoorsy people that are into new and different things. Certainly I find Buddhism really interesting, and interesting philosophy, like all other religions are interesting philosophies to me. And I don't know what this one is. It may just be decorative imagery. See, it kind of pretty colorful. It's kind of nice. So 4th always has struck me as being pretty similar to an alleyway, like they just had an alley and they paved it over. It's pretty narrow, no sidewalks. Coming up on Curtis, 4th and Curtis. And we're gonna make a right here. Look at this nice, oh, did something wrong with my thumb there. Camera gave me a message. Look at these great leaves still out and about. Still sharing their lovely colors with us. Always kind of brings a smile to my face. Hi there. How's it going? Good, how are you? Had a viewer saying they're coming through Livingston at the end of the week, and I hope they have a great time. This is, of course, we're not in Livingston right now, we're in Bozeman, but just popped into my head as I was thinking how nice that guy was and how pleasant these small neighborhood areas can be, and how pleasant and kind people are in Livingston. This is 5th and Curtis. Lots of different colorful old houses. This is probably the, how do I describe it? Maybe, yeah, I would say the nicest neighborhood in Bozeman. Certainly there's a lot of other areas with high-end homes, new homes. But this is kind of the classic older, quiet neighborhood with really pricey real estate and some pretty grand historic houses. And again, this is kind of talking about inertia earlier as I drone on some more. This house here, great, cute little house. Looks like it's probably a rental. We're not far from the university. Total great neighborhood between downtown and the university. Old garage back there. They could sell this house for high 6, maybe 7 figures. Somebody could come in, put in a nice place there, or rehab that, and put in a rental unit in back. you know, the profits for the owner would be pretty sizable. You kind of wonder why they haven't cashed out. And I can only assume that it's a nice little income on a house that's probably paid off a long time ago. And why would you? And I kind of like that, you know. I kind of like this mix of old and new and sort of this organic growth versus maybe what I would describe as viral growth. You know, it's harder to sustain the increase in population with this method, with this system that's sort of operating here, but I think it ends up with a much more interesting place. And I like interesting. Now, that doesn't say you still need to have affordable housing, and you can't do that in this neighborhood, obviously. And so we get condos, which are great. I think Bozeman's done a pretty good job of managing its growth, especially given the circumstances. And then you also get a fair amount of sprawl here. If you go out west of town, west of 19th particularly, you get a lot of cookie cutter development, which I actually lived out there for a while, and it was perfectly nice. It's kind of an interesting house too. I like that. That's new, or at least redone new. Let's get hot in summer. Maybe it's shade enough. Any case, you get that cookie cutter stuff, that sort of low cost housing. And, you know, there are other ways to do that, but it takes a central direction, I think, a will, a community will to enact that. And in a place like Montana, in America, which depends or has a history and a culture of individualism and capitalist growth, you're not going to get that community will. So, at least in my opinion. I'm not ranting on that. I hope nobody feels like I'm being a social justice warrior like I've been called in the past. Just kind of my observation of things. Like I said, I think Bozeman has done a pretty good job of managing its growth. A lot of good higher density housing going in on the west side of town as well. But in a world that's losing its wild spaces, you know, once it's lost, it's gone, pretty much forever. You hate it's a little bit sad to see former open space turned into houses and condos and that sort of thing. But as I said, I don't have a better solution. So. Coming up on 8th, and again, this goes off the left will be Cooper Park and then the university. It's kind of this divided road, which is kind of nice. And then it's got some good bike lanes, these classic old homes, and that sort of thing. Off to the right is one of the condos I mentioned earlier. It used to be, at least part of that lot was a Pizza Hut. It's lonely Pizza Hut that was almost never busy. Eventually became a delivery-only Pizza Hut, and now high-density housing, like I was complimenting earlier. They actually had a fire during construction, from what I understand, and it paused for like 6 months or a year. So it's kind of nice to see that they finished it and it's providing more, what do you call that? Inventory, housing inventory. As we come back to 8th and Babcock and the Bermuda Triangle, Traveling Mel used to live about a block from here on Olive. before I won her heart. And I think this is where we're gonna call it. I want to thank you guys for joining me on this walk around Bozeman on a Halloween Sunday afternoon. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you will tell your friends about the channel if they need a little bit of diversion during their exercises, or are looking at visiting or moving to Bozeman. It might be a good resource for them. Comment, please. I love getting your comments. I love hearing from you guys. I really do. It's not just talking. I love when it's personal info or corrections or stories or whatever. I love interacting with you guys as people. It's a big joy for me. And like the video if you haven't done so, and if you actually like the video. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I appreciate that. That helps me with the Google and the YouTube and the searches and the Gleben. And come back next time. I'm really not sure where I'm going to walk. I'm sort of taking this day to day, week to week right now. So check back, find out where we're going to be. Until then, from Bozeman, Montana, right over by the Bozeman Co-op. You got, one thing, one last thing. This house is awesome. It's decorated for Christmas year round. It's got the prayer flag, the Montana flag, and the lights out front that say "Bah Humbug" when it's all lit up. So we'll be seeing that soon. I'll probably come over and do a Bozeman Christmas walk at some point because they decorate the town pretty nicely. Until then, you guys, see you soon. Keep on stepping. Take care.